So like I can say ESG has 4 pillars, according to me. You have environment, society, you have a governance, and you also have economy.
Okay.
Okay. So these pillars have to be strong, and whatever we do, everybody understand the economy part of it. Okay. Safety, quality, environments, we've been doing a lot of standards. But then eventually it should percolate to the benefit of the society.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to FaceTime with Leaders by Directors Institute World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Priya George, and today we have the distinct privilege of speaking with someone whose career truly spans industries, continents, and decades of leadership, Mr. Srinivasan Raghu. Mr. Srinivasan Raghu, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. I'm also very happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Absolutely. For those of us tuning in, Mr. Raghu has led a remarkable journey from engineering and marine certifications to shaping safety and quality standards across the oil and gas, marine and industrial sectors globally. His leadership experience stretches across the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and India, with a very rare blend of technical mastery, governance excellence, and a commitment to mentoring the next generation.
Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to share my experiences.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Raghu, without further ado, let's start off. I'd love for you to take us through your journey in your own words, from those early days to everything that you've built over the years. Why have been some of the key moments that shaped your path along the way? What are some of them? We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you so much. It's really great to flash back about my journey. Rather,
Right.
I must say my journey is more involved from the voyages at sea.
Okay.
Because I've been in the merchant navy. That's how my
Okay.
career started. Having spent my schooling days in Shimla,
Okay.
I did my mechanical engineering from Delhi College of Engineering in Delhi. And then I did my post-graduation in marine engineering from
Right.
a prestigious Asian institute called DMET.
Okay.
And then that gave me the entry to the merchant navy as a marine
Okay.
engineer. And the life at sea was very exciting, adventurous, and also technically very enriched my career. I spent about 12 years in the merchant navy as a chief engineer.
Okay.
And a time came where I wanted to move to the shore jobs.
Okay.
One of the things is which I found and probably I pursued is try not to be stagnant in one place. Every stage you reach a particular top or whatever it is.
Correct.
And always it is better to move further so that the experience and exposure helps you a lot. So after merchant navy, I was picked up by one American company, American Bureau of Shipping.
Okay.
And which is a classification society. And they are one of the top end on certifying the ships during the construction as well as while running. And it gets its authority from United Nations, IMO, that is Indian International Maritime Organization.
Okay.
And then each flag states who are member of the United States, they authorize us to certify the ships.
Okay.
So purely from the running and maintenance, I jumped into a more on a kind of statutory level management side, where I have to certify when the ships are being built, And also we have a periodical inspection and surveys on the ship. So, and those certificates are mandatory all over the world.
All right.
So that really gave me a very good boost. And I was only 31 when I was picked up, and I was placed as a country manager in Sultanate of Oman. And and I'm talking about early 80s. The Gulf War was on, and my company wanted to set up a branch in Oman, because we were expecting a lot of ships which could have been damaged in the war, and it gets a lot of repairs to be done. And we get involved in those repairs to recertify. But it so happened when I went to Oman, the Sultan of Oman didn't want to have a big dry dock. And the most of the work actually went to Dubai. And but I set up the operations in Oman. And of course, the job was to fly everywhere the ships are going or being constructed.
Right.
So I built the operations in Oman from scratch, and spent about 14 to 15 years in Oman and Abu Dhabi. And that gave me an exposure, not only the marine, we also went into the onshore and offshore platforms. So my company, basically, it's a highly regarded company which creates the standards for the marine assets. And
which could be anything. Which could
mainly
be
ship, anything floating,
ships.
They will do the ships, offshore platforms,
buoys.
So we create
everything.
a standard, we participate, we implement, and we certify. So as long as the ship or asset have a certification, it has got some kind of fitness certificate. So anybody can buy and sell, unless we have that certificate. That's a sanctity for the ships. And so then I moved back to India because I grew up my family in Oman. My children were growing up, so I came back to India because I wanted them to do the higher school and college in India. And same company, American Bureau of Shipping, they transferred me back to India, and I was a country manager here, and had a very exciting projects because each project is different, learnings are different. And again, it was on the board level recruitments. I was a country head and also was participating in the regional management. So it gave me a lot of rich experiences, and at the same time, a lot of strain because certification is where the buck stops with you. So we have to be very careful technically, as well as, there are so many aspects in certification. And so I spent totally, I think, 14, 15 years with ABS. Then I left them and joined another German certification body, which is called Germanischer Lloyd. And then 2 years I spent with the British Standard Institution, again for certifications and consulting. And then I joined a German company called TUV Nord. Okay, and they based me in Southeast Asia in Thailand. So I had about 20 platforms which were to be certified for PTT, which is an oil major for Thailand. And I started the entire the unit because TUV is very famous in certifying the industries, but they were not much into the marine and offshore. So again, I had to start from the scratch, put up every skills and built up the manpower, and we delivered that. So I spent about 4 years in Thailand. And then I came back, and the last 2 years I spent with an American consulting firm who were involved in the security management and process safety. Process safety is another new buzzword after HSE. The process safety was, particularly with oil and gas, and also in the pharma company is very famous. So I did 2 years, and then I said I will hang my boots and do something more, which is more valuable to the society. So that's my the career both in the sea and onshore.
Onshore. So you talked about, how you started at, not started, but in your career, you were there at Oman. And I have visited the Corniche where I saw all these huge ships docked. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw a few ships uh, docked at Corniche. So that was an incredible sight.
This is beautiful
Um,
place, yeah.
it is. It definitely is. Yes. So thank you for sharing that with us. And I'm sure it's been a really fascinating journey and how those different experiences, the challenges, the people that you meet, I think, and the moments, they must have really shaped your path. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Mr. Raghu, when I look at everything you've built, from setting up new verticals like risk assessment and wind technology to holding leadership roles on boards, it's clear that creating something from such scratch is almost second nature to you. So
Yes.
it just makes me wonder what kind of mindset does it really take to keep starting, building, and leading new initiatives with the kind of consistency and impact that you have?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting question. And I tell you, two, three things are very important. And probably this got inbuilt when we were sailing on the ship. Okay. The first is courage. When we say courage, it is like uh, coordinating with inevitables. You don't know what is coming up, but you still take it up and flow with that. And then you meet head on, and then you come with the good results. So this happened both in my personal life as well as when I was building up the companies or different verticals, and expanding the companies on that. And so this, and along with that, the most important I feel is following a kind of an ethics is very important. See, if your ethics are in place, it is very easy to make decisions without any problems.
Yes,
Okay?
absolutely.
And now I would touch upon more on the business side. Uh, there is something called paradigm. Okay, I always believed in a paradigm concept. See, paradigm loosely you can define as a boundary a mother makes for the child. She says, okay, be inside this. So that's your paradigm. Okay. In the business sense, what happens is, for example, there's a general manager and he is very successful. He is doing very well for the first year, second year, third year. But then he gets trapped into a paradigm because there's a repeated thing which is happening. And there's a paradigm shift that the market shifts with the different aspects. New thing comes, new technology comes, new requirement comes. So a success repeatedly at one place in one paradigm is not a guarantee for all the time. So you need to watch the paradigm shifts, which is more related to like market. So if you keep observing the market and you realign yourself, I think that's a game. And this is what happened, when I went back to the Oman, I was at sea, and suddenly I went to Oman working with a multinational, and I was on the top of it to handle different nationality people. So I knew my paradigm shifted from pure maintenance and running a ship to a management cadre. And then adaptability is always there. So you adopted yourself, you looked at the paradigm, because I have seen many of people who don't change with the time or the market. And I call that a paradigm paralysis. So you should avoid a paradigm paralysis. And if you keep moving or watching as the paradigm shifts, I think you are always in tune with the success map. And another one thing I'll say is any new job or anything always try to unlearn and then learn back. You should know how to go back to the base and then pick up again. Because every job or every assignment is quite different and different challenges.
True.
So that really helped me to, stay on the top. From the age of 31 to almost 61, I've been on the top management. And I retained that. And I think the main ingredient was I was able to look at the paradigm shift and I had to align myself. And of course, technically you have to keep upgrading. So the training is very important every year. I spend time with your institute, so which also helped me. So you have to keep upgrading yourself in the technically. And then once your ethics and you have a strong characters and you have a courage, and I think then you keep building on everything else follows on that.
Absolutely. And I think there's a different kind of beauty in starting from the ground up, regardless of where you are. There is always, a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction building from scratch, which again demands a whole different mindset. And doing away with complacency, I think it also helps in that. Moving on, Mr. Raghu, when I think about the industries you worked in, marine, oil and gas, industrial sectors, which have gone through massive changes over the decades, I'd love to hear, how did you personally navigate those waves of disruption and keep yourself so relevant and impactful across every new era?
See, again, the answer is the same. I was very cautious about the paradigm shift. So if the technology is changing, I know we need to upgrade ourselves. If the market is changing, new players are coming, you need to understand the shift in the paradigm. And that helped. And then very important was to build the manpower with that. I was always the opinion that, one of the main factors which really helped the organization and also to support the developments are the courage, the character, and the competency. Competency is very important because being into engineering line, so you need to be competent and keep yourself abreast with all the new developments.
True.
And I talked about the courage because the courage is very important. And the character is very important because when you are going at a high level, I always make a distinction between reputation and character. Okay, reputation is what the people see outside, and character is something which you know what you are. So they both should align. So what happens then? You are well recognized, and the market also recognizes the company as a good reputation.
Makes
so
sense.
If you have these things, then the clarity is very good. And clarity and confidence comes with these three things. And then when you hit the job with the good ethics, I think it all blossoms.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's really inspiring. Thank you for that very sound advice. Mr. Raghu, when we look at the way standards like ISO and OSHAs have evolved over the years, it's incredible how much the landscape has changed, not just in terms of compliance, but in how organizations think about quality, safety, and responsibility. And given your first-hand experience, we'd like to know, how should future leaders look at certifications today? Should they see them as just ticking boxes or as real tools for driving true organizational transformation?
It's a very interesting question, and this was always a challenge for me. I think each company should go much beyond the certification. See, we are in a world now where probably other than the God, you need a certificate for everything. The child is born, you need a certificate.
True.
Person dies, you need a certificate.
Right.
But the lacuna I found was there is still not a certification for integrity.
Yeah, interesting.
For integrity and ethics, which are something which you cannot certify, but it is built or nurtured through your background or your mentors or your culture. Okay, and if that is there, I think certification is a very easy thing. Most of the time, I find people are very good. You tick the boxes, all fine. But then I find that there is a lot of lacuna in kind of commitments, or they have not understood the ethics. Like I'll give you one example. We were doing an audit, and we wanted to understand how much is the quantum of storage, warehouse, items. So the supervisor took me to the warehouse, and he was carrying a kind of a book which had all the datas. So he told this guy, he said, we are under the audit, so could you please confirm and sign that this is the total stock? Okay. So now I could see this guy was a little hesitant for whatever the reason. Okay, and he was a bit reluctant to sign. Then I said, okay, why don't we check or inspect, just to be sure about it. So when we found a lot of discrepancies. But this guy who was in the store, I found that he was working from his ethical point of view. Because he knew, although the supervisor told him, but he knew that their probability is not correct. So once you have these things, this gives you a very good impression that the company has a very good ethics. Of the policy, everybody writes, but the commitment you can see when the people act in this fashion.
Right.
This is what I think most of the leader should go beyond, because certification is a part of the commercial life sometimes. Sometimes happens for the audit, everything will fine, but the moment you go over there, they go back to the old unorganized way. Right. So the message is, you need to go much beyond and inculcate more ethical practices. And if that is there, see, some flaws can be there, which can be human error or anything.
Correct. Absolutely.
But sometimes when you have a doubt on the intention of it, then you have a problem.
Absolutely.
And that's what exactly a good certifier looks into it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that, I've been doing this consulting and this, so I got a lot of feedback. It also helped me to grow myself. And then eventually you feel very satisfied.
Right, right. I thank you for sharing your perspective. I think it's very interesting when people think of certifications, and many would think that, yes, it's another checklist, but it's also what you do with those certifications, your learning and your experience. How do you want to put it into practice? I think that's when experience really counts.
I will say stick to the spirit of it.
Yes, yes.
Stick to the spirit of it, and that takes you to, it can take you to any heights.
True, true. Absolutely. Makes sense. Mr. Raghu, after such an extraordinary journey across industries and leadership roles, we want to know what's next for you. As you look ahead, what are some of the aspirations that still inspire you, whether it's in terms of new personal milestones, professional goals, or even stepping further into strategic boardroom roles? Yes, we'd love to hear.
Okay. I have a formula for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Please.
So the formula is like this, that one must have some kind of a desire, and desire may change at the different times. Okay. Somebody wants to become an engineer, somebody wants to work in a multinational, somebody wants to be in a higher status. Okay. So you firm up your desire, and you got to be careful on that this is what you like. And once you firm up, in Sanskrit, there's something called sankalpa. That is, you take a kind of an oath. Okay, I want to do this the best. Okay. And when you add that sankalp with the benefit to the society at large, that becomes a success story. See, you are an engineer, you should know, by being a good engineer and doing certain work, how it helps the society at large.
Correct.
So I don't know if because I am good in Sanskrit. So in Sanskrit, you have so rich guidelines. So when you add the sankalp and purusharth, you get the siddhi. Siddhi is nothing but success. And you can apply that in individual, you can apply to the company. So
Does sankalp also mean nishtha?
No, nishtha
I
is
mean,
different. Sankalp is oath.
Okay, where you make a
an
promise
oath
to yourself.
and you become the best on that.
Ah.
And then you have to relate how that helps the society at large.
Nishtha is hard work or commitment?
It's a commitment, yes.
Right.
No,
Okay.
but that is the softer side of it. See, like
Correct.
become a professional. Okay,
Correct.
I'm on the board. Okay, and I need the company should do something which should be beneficial to the society. And that's how all the governance and your ESG comes into the play. But this is all coded into our scriptures. So the sankalp is the oath. When you connect that oath with purusharth means what actually you should do, which connects to the society at large.
Okay.
You have no stress, you are happy, and every day you can have a sound sleep. So this is the basic formula. So every stage, like my stage now, I have done a lot of, you say, achievement or accomplishments, but still the energy is there, still the spark is there. So I would like to share this more with the society at large, because you carry so much experiences which a company can make use of it, and that keeps you going.
Right.
And this can be applied everywhere. So your question, what I want to do is the next is keep helping the society at large and find a way where I can percolate all my experiences.
Right. So your future aspirations reflect a very strong sense of purpose. Yes. And in giving back.
Yes.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Mr. Raghu, when I look at the depth of your journey, the focus on quality, safety, ethical leadership across industry, it really feels like these values have been the backbone of everything you've built. And you've also reiterated in your earlier response the importance of principles and values. In today's world where ESG has become more than just a buzzword, I'd like to hear your thoughts. How critical do you believe in an ESG-centric mindset for decision makers who want to stay relevant and build truly responsible organizations?
Yeah, I think it's a very higher stage. ESG can be fixed at a very higher stage because you are connecting with the society.
Correct.
Okay. So like I can say ESG has 4 pillars, according to me. You have environment, okay, then you have
social
society, you have a governance, and you also have economy.
Okay.
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 So these pillars have to be strong, and whatever we do, everybody understand the economy part of it. Okay. Safety, quality, environments, we've been doing a lot of standards. But then eventually it should percolate to the benefit of the society. And that's what I'm saying. See, my entire career, I had this DNA in my career for ESG, because everything, the formula I gave you, it's finally it rests with the society at large. Okay, so the ESG really helps to do the business in such a way where we are conscious about taking care of the environments. And when we talk about the environment, we talk about quality, safety, environments. And the sustainability, it should sustain. And then finally, the society we are working in, it is also helping them. Okay, there was a time where we were just looking at the bottom line and we were not talking about other things. Okay, now because everybody is evolved, we understand, because whatever the business we do, there is an impact to the society as well as the environment. And again, governing, we have a lot of tools. But again, I
Correct.
will say the basic ingredient is the very good ethical practices and the character, which helps a lot. If these are absent, then all the tools can fall down.
Correct. Correct.
So
Makes
ESG
sense.
is, I think, it has extended the scope, and it is making the board members to be more accountable. Okay, not only on the bottom line, there are other factors, and I think it is the future. And if everybody really
Absolutely.
follow, the world will be a better place to live.
Absolutely. Right. ESG is about building something bigger than just the business. Mr. Raghu, we are near the end of the interview, and before we close, we'd love to hear a little bit about your experience since joining Directors Institute. How has the journey been so far for you? And in what ways has it added to your leadership perspective or shaped the way you approach governance and strategic thinking today? We'd love to hear from you.
See, joining Director Institute, it helped me to pick up many things which were new to me also. Okay, more on the digitization side, and artificial intelligence, and the way you carried your programs. So those were all a bit new things. And apart from that, I enjoyed many of the speakers where I interacted, or I heard the speeches of their experiences. It was a learning point for me. And third is, many things I could revalidate it. Whatever I had done, and I saw it, and I found, oh, okay, I've done a good job, and it was a good platform to revalidate my thinking and my values. So it was a good exposure and good experience with your institute.
That's really wonderful to hear, Mr. Raghu, and it's inspiring to see how meaningful learning continues at every stage and should not stop regardless of experience, age, or any other factor.
You remain
So
a
thank
student.
you.
You remain a
Sorry?
student. You
Absolutely,
remain a student.
absolutely, absolutely. Agreed. Conversations like these that we had with Mr. Raghu remind us that leadership isn't built overnight. It's shaped across oceans, industries, and ideas. Mr. Raghu, hearing your story today, hearing your many anecdotes and the examples that you shared with us today, felt like getting a glimpse into a map, not just of your journey, but of the kind of resilience and vision the future needs. So thank you so much for bringing that map to life for all of us. Mr. Raghu, thank you once again for joining us on FaceTime with Leaders.
Thank you so much. And I hope this conversation also helps people to inspire and inculcate the basic requirements for the business. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I'm sure it will. To everyone listening out there, if today's conversation with Mr. Raghu taught us anything, it's that growth isn't a destination, it's a voyage. So keep learning, keep challenging yourself, and remember, every new challenge is just another chapter waiting to be written. This is FaceTime with Leaders by Directors Institute and your host, Priya George, signing off. Until next time, keep charting your own course. Thank you.